Hey, BHH and NC here, spectating and speculating about finding grace in America in these times. Welcome aboard.
Being done by men, evil men. And if this is happening in Peru, it's happening to defenseless people in remote villages all over the continent, maybe even beyond. Advanced technology in the hands of those who profit from suffering. We've seen that all throughout history. The face peelers aren't a legend anymore. They're an industry, and business is booming. The CIA once faked vampire attacks as part of a counterinsurgency strategy. In the 1950s in the Philippines, a communist group called the Huks tried to overthrow the government. The CIA brought in a psychological warfare unit to try to scare the Huks away. There was a local legend of a monster called the Aswang. The Aswang had a sharp tongue that it would use to drain the blood of its victims. So the CIA started hunting the Huks. They kidnapped them, punctured their necks, and hung the corpses upside down to drain their blood. The plan worked better than they expected. The same PSYOPs unit was deployed in Vietnam a few years later for Operation Wandering Soul. They broadcast ghostly voices and screams into the jungle at night. This was so effective that the US was instructed not to play the sounds around their local allies. They were terrified. But why would the CIA go through all this trouble and take on so much risk for money? They have access to all the money they need. And what about Tim Alberino's theory about a shadowy organization harvesting organs using life? And in the middle of it all, a secretive US military operation is active just miles away. So let's break down what we know. It's easy to see why the Peruvian government was so quick to dismiss the story. In the Nanay River is gold. Lots of gold. During the pandemic, the authorities disappeared. Gold prices soared, and the jungle opened up. Criminal networks from Brazil and Colombia moved in. They set up illegal gold mining operations that generate billions of dollars a year. But these operations use dredges and pumps and shovels, not hoverboards and lasers. If this were about gold, why attack Nauta, a city with no gold at all? So were these aliens? Probably not.
See when the money all begins, where they tell us where it started issuing banknotes in 1762, where we also know that this group started in 1717. And for the first time in this timeline's history, the Austrian government issues paper money and caused inflation, where we're just getting started. Today, we are going to investigate a location that does not belong in our historical narrative. Situated 7,000 feet high, located in Turkey, we have Mount Nimrod. Yet another location that definitely should have been headlined in History 101. This place should have been one of the first things that we were all told about. Yet my history classes mentioned this location a total of 0 times. Clearly these heads did not fit into our narrative, where they are 100% destroyed. We can see that 7,000 feet up in the mountain did not matter to the past. Any altitude would do just fine. With their hammers and chisels in hand, they would climb up the mountain, construct perfect statues, and be back home for dinner. The narrative tells us that the pattern of damage to the heads suggests that they were deliberately damaged, where it is admitted. And of course, they will never know who it was that destroyed them, where they are trying to tell us that they know exactly who built them and the exact year, where they tell us that it was 62 BC, not 61 and not 63, but negative 2086. They have all of this written down in their journals. No. And they begin to give us backstories on these statues, telling us that they were once seated with names of each god inscribed on them. How would they know this? That they were once seated with names of each god inscribed on them? How would they know this? Unless, of course, they were the ones that removed it. It's very interesting. Where at some point, the heads of the statues were removed from their bodies. Now, within this community, we have shown 80 episodes exposing massive lies within the narrative that we have all been told. We show that there was a previous civilization here, a civilization that was extremely advanced. We have documented where a lot of them may have gone. We have also shown not just one location of the world. It is in every single country, every city, every town. We are not told the truth about our historical narrative. There was an extremely advanced group of people right here where we are today, a massive group. They were here, much closer to our timeline than what we have been told. And knowing this unlocks so many questions, where questions from thousands of people, all with different points of view, different skill sets, different knowledge, all working together. These questions, they will always find answers. And then Abe Lincoln, a president of the United States, is born in a shack in 1809. So where exactly is the evolving and advancing thing that we're all told about over and over? 2,000 years of advancing. We're told by the mainstream narrative that 2,000 years ago, we had master sculptors carving seated kings 7,000 feet high on a mountain. After 1,800 years of advancing, you would think that we would have evolved a little bit and built more than just a couple statues on a mountain. You would think that we would have advanced, maybe a little bit even, into maybe making stone sheds at the very minimum. But no. We were making wooden sheds that didn't even have a bathroom. You had to go outside to the outhouse. Are we all seeing this? It's incredible when you really think about it. We are told there were some conflicts with Julius Caesar, and we've seen this in episode 77, our 1 hour long episode, where the owner just orders a palace, and it's there forever. And now they say that 2,000 years ago, Antiochus orders the assembly of a mountain of crushed rock. He's just ordering it. Any delivery man will do. Back 1,800 years ago, where I think this is a massive lie. That 50-meter pile of crushed rock is 100%, in my opinion, the crushed stone of the incredible work of the previous civilization. All in my opinion, of course. But I think it's pretty obvious at this point. We just need 50 meters of crushed stone way up on that mountain, 7,000 feet in the air. What would we do without that crushed stone 2,000 years ago? This story is ridiculous, where the statues, each over 9 meters tall, have all been damaged by earthquakes. But these were no ordinary earthquakes. These were the earthquakes that would chop the heads off of statues from 2,000 years ago. Extremely picky earthquakes that just wanted the heads. All documented. No, of course it's not. Where the earthquakes took their stone heads and sent them rolling down the hillside. Or did someone go in there and remove the heads and grind most of them up and put them right behind the site, 50 meters high, and then roll the other ones down the hill?
Arthur, King of the Britons, your knights of the Round Table shall have a task to make them an example in these dark times.
Good idea, O Lord.
Of course it's a good idea.